Only got one, two, three. I think.
So we're live right now. We are here. We're here. We're in JLHQ. JLHQ. We're in Justice League headquarters. We're here. And wow, y'all know this is dynamic right here. Y'all probably had heard of y'all probably because that's why I was laughing because you know these are two you can't control at all. These two ain't. Oh, run, tell that. What you try to tell me? J. Jones, the Honorable J. Jones, with the Mississippi one, Charlie Brown. Oh, run, tell that. Wow. And we got Kyle in the house also, who Charlie Brown sent to go get some stuff. He said, tell Julius Hall go and do it. And so come on and join us right. You gotta see right here. Kyle, excuse me, Kyle. You know, because it's just like I'm excited and ecstatic about this right here on Run Tell That. Oh my God. Oh my God. So now normally what we're gonna do, you know, it's like I go ask this question and say, who are you? Who are you? Now some of the people checking out the show, we say share. But again, we're going to do this. Who are you? Now, Charlie Brown, when I ask you, who are you, Charlie Brown, do not give us a whole soliloquy with regards to that because we got other people on here too, Charlie Brown. So, Charlie Brown, who are you?
You know, you're very kind, and I appreciate you with that nice introduction. And I'm asking all the people, please share. It is important. I am an activist for the community. I'm nothing but an activist. Some people might want to call me a political consultant, but I'm basically an activist, and I want to move Savannah forward and Chatham County forward. Thank you. That's basically who I am.
It's a first with regard to, and thank God for it. And so, Jay Jones, who are you?
Former county commissioner, former individual, been on a lot of boards, a lot of committees throughout Chatham County, the state of Georgia, and for the United States of America. Proud parent, proud husband. My family be back tomorrow. Shouts out to them. They've been in Japan for the last 9 days. Proud uncle, but mostly I love this brother right here. This is a man who taught me a lot when it came to entrepreneurship, and he was being humble in his introduction. So I give him that kudos to him. You want to give flowers when people are around you. So
thank you.
But just I want to see the same thing Teray said. See our community flourish. See our community come out of bondage. See our community come where everybody has an opportunity to be able to thrive and get that equal opportunity to be successful. And so I'll leave my introduction at that.
Okay. We were going to get into some of that with them, but see how they try. I told y'all, y'all know how they, how they was talking and stuff going on. But Kyla, who are you? Who are you, Kyla?
I'm the youngest here, so I'm a current student of Savannah State University. Just got in not too long ago, but to get off of his point, I'm Jay Jones's nephew, and just want to shout out to my grandparents and my mom, Nicole Jones, and that's who I am. Just
so
in the room.
So, and you ain't had to say that.
Yeah.
You ain't had to say that. But anyways, y'all sitting out there, so y'all see, they must be don't know how Jamal do the show. We ask, who are you? Who your people? Who your people is? Then who inspires you? So see, because Kyle, see again, because he's been around them, he's contaminated. But something I gotta do, because Charlie's gonna probably have to leave us. I'm gonna ask, because y'all know I asked the most important question. That of all the questions in the conversations that we have on Run Tell, that the most important question I got to do right now. And so we want y'all to get it right. Y'all know everybody out there is demanding that y'all get this answer correct. We're going to ask y'all the most important question on Run Tell that Jeremy is asking at the end, but we're going to do in the beginning because we will make sure that Charlie Brown gets inducted into this right here. So the question is, what is the best high school in the entire country? Kyla, what is the best high school? Please get it right. The best high school in the entire United States.
North Atlanta High School.
See there? The wrong answer. That would see. I'm too afraid with these two because they got contamination right now. So
I'm going.
I'm going to Jay Jones. Jay Jones, what is the best high school? Be honest about it in the entire United States.
Alfred Eli Beach High School.
See that? This is why people ain't got freedom. Charlie Brown, redeem us right now. Charlie Brown, redeem us. The best high school in the entire United States.
If I was a puppet, I will say this, but I'm not a puppet, and I'm not planning to say what you think.
Okay.
That name still resonate on a gym on Waters Avenue, but that's not the best high school. The best high school in the United States and this region, as far as I'm concerned, is Richard Arnold High.
Where's that at?
It used to be on Bull, now it's closed. Outstanding people come from Richard Arnold. The person running the EOA, Terry Talbot, graduate of Richard Arnold. The first female black interim chief of policeman. His wife, Talbot, Julie, graduate of Richard Arnold. Do I need to continue?
No.
You are the type that will shut one down. Thank you.
This is why we ain't got freedom today. But we're going to move on.
But you got Fritos. You might not have freedom.
It's Herschel Fest v. Jenkins High School, a.k.a. Heavens v. Jenkins High School, 1800 Storina Avenue. They get it incorrectly. I should have known. So,
find somebody with the Herschel v. Jenkins High School. Where's that at again?
1800 East Storina Avenue. Okay. Wow. Let's move on to this right here. So, since they try to throw it on out there, Jay Jones.
What's up, boss?
All right, Jay Jones.
What's up, boss?
Who your people?
When you say who my people is,
y'all know in the black community how we do it. When we say who your people, who your people, that's what we doing. Who your people?
Well, I come from the Kennedy lineage here in Savannah, Georgia. The Smith and Kennedy lineage. I'm kin to a lot of people here in Chatham County, but you have to ask Rose Jones. Shouts out to my mother because she know who we all kin to. Mm-hmm. And that's who I call when I need to find out who I'm kin to, who I'm not kin to, because she's the one who in her mind has it categorized as far as it. But I will say I'm kin to the AME Church. I'm kin to A Beach High School. I'm kin to Windsor Forest High School. I'm not kin to HBJ High School. I did know some people who went there, but that's about it as far as my kinship is concerned. And my thing is, we live in an environment here in Chatham County where it's a who you are, who you know type piece.
It is.
And the first conversation we always has is what high school you went to and who your people are. So those questions, when you say run tell that, those are two important questions I always ask because that's the continuity, that's the connection piece that we use here in this environment.
Correct. I agree with you on that.
And you heard him say it, but then he still was a little disrespectful. He's trying to he's high, Windsor Forest, but yeah, that's right. Charlie Brown, who your people, Charlie Brown?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. My mom was a member of the United House of Prayer on the Geechee Road. She was known as the marching lady. She was very charismatic, had a lot of charisma in the parade, and a lot of people know her from that. They also know my family from the restaurant vendors. My sister was with me in the Charlie Brown restaurant. D Brown, they call her Sister D, but it's Doris Brown. Those are basically, my brother was known as Peasy Brown. My other brother was known as the milk robber. He robbed me with milk. Yeah, well, back in the day,
That's a story to tell.
that's the days when they used to have a horse and buggy and bring the milk to the house.
Chocolate milk too, right?
They didn't have that much, but they did have chocolate milk.
And he had
Cost
some.
more money.
About that much.
Okay,
Yeah,
y'all,
about
y'all
that
heard
that
it.
much.
Y'all heard it. So, Kyla, who your people? Who your people?
You see him right here. He's right here.
Look just
My uncle
like
right
it.
here. You know, that's what everybody, keep telling me every time I've been down here. Ever since I've been down here.
Yeah, look like it.
My grandmother, Rose Jones, grandfather, Johannes Jones,
And that's another connection I keep
my mother, Nicole Jones, my father, Case Garrett. I come from the Garrett lineage, but I have good parts on east side. Garrett lineage. You got the
Your granddaddy was a legendary postman for the
Yeah.
federal government, and he knows so many people.
Mhm.
I knowed him before I ever met his son and
Mhm.
never did the connection. And then his mother, Rose, I knew her as well, then never connect the postman with the teacher. So that's a great combination because you realize during that time, long before you born, that carried so much weight because blacks was educators and postmen were some of the key jobs black did in this community, helped build this community and helped build a lot of character.
So
He wouldn't have been where he at if you didn't have these black teachers and black postmen bringing the knowledge back to black people. Herschel B. Jenkins is a fine school. It started in 1959. And I tell you a story about Herschel B. Jenkins
Lord.
you
Jesus.
did not know.
Jesus.
Herschel B. Jenkins got new books, but the books went to the wrong school. It went to Saul C. Johnson. And Saul C. Johnson wanted to keep the books, and the Board of Education wanted to take the books back. And then it was a protest and a march out on those books. It was two schools, Johnson and Jenkins. And a lot of people don't even know what Saul C. Johnson stands for. I met hundreds of people graduate. They don't even know the name of Saul C. Johnson. Do any of you gentlemen know sitting in this room? I know you might not know, but he should know. What is Saul C. Johnson's real name?
Solomon
Solomon what?
Charles.
That's correct. That gentleman knows. Solomon Charles Johnson.
you knew he was gonna know.
Well, I have to challenge you. I have to challenge. He challenged on the show. I want to challenge on the show. But that's a true story about the two schools, 59, Saul Johnson and Herschel B. Jenkins. The books came to Johnson because it started with a J. And what do Jenkins start with? That's how the truck driver made a mistake somehow.
Oh man.
And
that's
got the
crazy.
wrong book.
So ranking schools in my book now: Beach, Windsor, Richard Arnold, Johnson.
If you want
and I ain't even
Richard
put
Arnold
Jenkins.
now, Richard Arnold is now defunct, and a lot of people don't know who Richard Arnold named after. They heard the name, but they have no idea. But since it's his show and his history, I'm not going to challenge
Oh,
you on
man.
that.
Oh man.
Hey, if former mayor of Savannah,
Yes.
who was basically giving Savannah over to Sherwin, he rides here. But that's what Charlie Brown tried to do. Just try
I
to
was-
take over.
I was just
Try to come in. But I'm gonna let you know. One of our viewers by the name of Julius Hall said that's what happened when old people on shows. Julius Hall when he said when old people on shows, let me go take the.
I disagree.
Hold up. This is
I disagree with Julius Hall.
He said old people don't know how to cut their phones off. He was referencing you, Charlie Brown, but not that I had said that. Y'all see, Julius Hall had said that.
Listen, his job is the rattler. That's where he needs to stay. He wants to keep information to himself and not let the black people know anything. He probably suffocate and smother black information. He don't know, so he don't want them to know. So when he do know something, he don't let them know. Don't get me started. I normally be on the Rattler. I got off the Rattler for a while because they won't let me burn natural gas. He want me to burn solo. I'm not waiting. I'm going to let the people know while I'm living.
Burn your gas, baby. Burn your gas.
Burn, baby, burn. Woo! Don't get me started.
Yo,
And young man, and I'm happy to have you here. The greatest thing you can do is what your uncle give you some advice. Listen, your friend's gonna tell you what's popular. He gonna tell you what's right because he wants you to do good. Why he wants you to do bad? Don't be like a Julius Hall. Hey, don't want you to spread nothing. Just shut up about it. And he spread propaganda, all this garbage. Use your hand on the rattler.
Shots fired.
So on this question right here,
You can ask it.
on this question, I know it ain't Julius Hall's not one of the people right here. So Charlie Brown, the question is this right here: who inspires you? What inspires you? Who inspires you? What inspires you?
I'll be perfect. What inspired me the most and keep me motivated is probably believing in Jesus Christ have kept me going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, far as I'm concerned, you can believe what you want to believe, but you got to believe in something. That's what I choose to believe in. There are other beliefs out here. Welcome to it for you, but that's not for me. I don't knock you or knock anyone for it. I believe in Jesus Christ and I walk in Jesus, and that motivates me to do the right thing. I'm being perfectly honest. That's what motivates me.
That's what we like. We always like that's what honesty. That's what we do on Ron Tyler. We have honesty. So Kyla, who inspires you? What inspires you?
Good question. Who inspires me? Well, to be honest with you, in this recent time, I would say my uncle, because not because he's just right here, but just being honest and just him being able to walk me through how to do certain things, kind of taught me a lot. And then even when my mom has told me, what my grandparents have told me, what my father has told me, I've taken everything that's been said to me, digested it, and then put it into my own vision, because I know I am the youngest here. I'm gonna keep on saying that, you know what I'm saying? But I am the youngest here. So it is critical for me to be around, individuals who could teach me certain things about their experiences. So yeah, I gotta keep on doing that.
See, Cal and I had a wonderful conversation this morning. That's why he was on. That's why he's the feature. But Kyle keep running his mouth.
That's you want me to do.
Brother J. Jones, who inspires you? What inspires you?
What inspires me? Who inspires me? As I get older in life, inspiration changes. And what inspired me younger in life, when I was, I guess, Kyle's age, was money. Money was the inspiration. Having lots of it, I felt that you can get maneuverability and everything you need to do. What inspires me every day to wake up is having a family, to be able to wake up to, giving my son, my nephew, those people around me opportunities to be in a society that's free for them to be able to think. Because like me and Charlotte talked about earlier today, like me and you talked about earlier today, Teray, there is a lot of obstacles, a lot of barriers out there to prevent us from doing what we really need to do, and how this world has changed, who's in the White House and, who runs our government structure and all that stuff like that, is parallel to how my life changes and how my life moves. And so what inspires me is to make sure that I do everything I can possible to get the next generation an opportunity to not have to fight through things that I had to fight through, me and you had to fight through at our age, or even things that Charlie, you had to fight through.
Purpose
because it's so important for us to make sure that bridge, that gap is closed where they don't have to come through that conversation. And like I said, people fail for lack of information, lack of knowledge. That's something that's been installed in me, and that's the inspirational point that I carried in my life for a long time. And I got that from the Entrepreneurship Center, because that was the inspiration when I was younger. Because what I wanted to do when I first moved here was I wanted to own my own business.
Nothing wrong with that.
And my thing is, a lot of people say, hey, I want to own my own life, own my own wealth, own my own thing. But then they don't understand that ownership has a whole bunch of bridges to get there.
Right.
And if you don't understand the information, you don't have the knowledge, you don't understand politics.
Right.
You don't understand the situation, then you can never get to that piece right here. So I'm thankful for having a better sense of knowledge at 50 than I did at 30 when I first.
That's pretty powerful. Purpose is so important. You seen the exhibit, great. But the key, money out of sight cause a fight.
Correct.
That's why I often look at it. You have to be careful when you deal with money, So that purpose, you want to keep in play. And I like what you say, because it's so important to knowing where you're going at. But if you don't know where you're coming from, it's difficult.
Yeah.
All right. So this is Ron Tell that we got Brother Caligari with us, Brother Jay Jones with us, and Brother Charlie Brown. And we're going to take a break. We'll be right back, because we're going to get into the meat and potato of the conversations with them. That's where we're going to throw some things out there, and we're going to let this brother show his genius, because, again, I was so impressed with him. But this is Ron Tell that on Our Black Media in JLHQ, Justice League Headquarters, Hot 2100 Savannah. So, yes, we're about to do this right now. We'll see you. Share, share, share.
Hey, Port Wentworth, Savannah, Georgia, surrounding counties. I don't know if y'all know, but y'all got a good man that's trying to do good things for y'all city. Mr. Rufus Bright. Y'all need to go ahead and re-elect him, because he's already been in office. But I don't know if y'all know all the good things and wonderful things he's been doing for the city. I don't know if y'all know who I am, but I'm Big Brother Dre. This is the Pound First production. You know what I mean? I want to let y'all know that this has been brought to you by the committee to elect Rufus Bright for City Council of Port Wentworth in Savannah, Georgia. But y'all need to tap in and tune in, you know what I mean, and keep following him and vote for him. Get out to those polls, you know what I'm saying? Get ready, you know what I mean? Don't hold back. Don't sit there and waste no time. Run to them polls and make sure you go and run and vote for Mr. Rufus Bright.
Vote for Rufus Bright. Vote for Rufus Bright. Vote for Rufus Bright. Vote for Rufus Bright. You want to see some brighter days? Vote for Rufus Bright. You want somebody who knows the way? Vote for Rufus Bright.
We are back. This is Ron Tell that we have with us Brother Charlie Brown, Brother Jay Jones, Brother Caligari. And we say to all y'all, share, 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 and support our supporters. One Price Cleaners located in the Farmers Market in Garden City on Highway 80. Kim's Cafe at 714 MLK Junior Boulevard. Chef Food and Gas, don't ride by, stop by. So yes, and we are back. So we're having this conversation. So now, Kyla, I'm going to throw something out to you. What do Black people need to be doing for us to improve? What do Black people need to do for us to improve?
Be united as one. And I'll just clarify, like I told you earlier, I said the first step in for our community to do better is just understanding that we are our own worst enemy.
That's true.
And we criticize each other when we already have other communities criticizing us. We sit there and get on each other for what we're not doing instead of celebrating what we are doing. We sit there and we, like I said, we are our own worst enemy.
You're right.
So I'm just, when it comes to us as a community, I just believe we have to start coming together, because the more that we are more apart, is the more other communities will have an edge on us, and that's just my opinion. So
Wow.
And that's what we want. And so now, listening to this brother, I know some of y'all saying, he just like to get that from his uncle. He got his uncle saying that. He came down here on his own because he was sitting around HBJ. And let y'all know, Rufus Bright went to HBJ. Just vote for Rufus Bright, who went to HBJ. But go ahead, Jay Jones. What do Black people need to be doing? What are the things out there for us to be doing to improve?
I think we need to have a conscious mind, strategic mind, a methodical thought process in how we move in our narrative. For example, in Savannah, I mean, and people, you can get mad at me all day you want. I don't live in Savannah like that no more, but I'm born and raised and love my hometown. But Savannah's gone. And we need to start looking at opportunities where we as a people can thrive and flourish. Not saying if you don't want to take the attempt at doing it in Savannah, by all means, do what you got to do. It's just going to be costly. But like my nephew just said, Kyla just said, we need to take it upon ourselves to create our own businesses.
Yeah.
Those businesses you highlighted, it's a reason why you highlight those businesses, because those businesses are Black-owned businesses, and they want to survive. And then those businesses need to expand. They need to make sure they grow. They need to be in different territories. Because as much as I want to get gas, I don't want to have to go all the way downtown Savannah. And this is a conversation I've had with Brother Shepherd. If I'm in town, guess where I go? I go to Shepherd Brothers. I get my gas. If I'm in Garden City, I go and take my clothes and get my press open in Garden City. So if I'm eating, everybody knows me for eating at Kim's Cafe. I think I'm probably, they won't give me credit for it, but I'm probably one of the first ones. Me and Judy see there every other day when they first open up, because we've seen, and Teray and Charlie, both of us have seen in that spot where Kim's Cafe is, organizations have come and gone, come and gone. And I said it the other day, it's probably one of the most successful opportunities in this city that's actually been thriving for us as African American people. And we should support it, because our support should generate greater support out there. And so making sure that we support each other as far as whatever business interests we have out there, making sure we create more business interests. Because when I look at our other counterparts, the reason why they thrive is their kids have opportunity. If we don't have opportunity to put our kids on, then our kids have to fight and be a part of a system. And when they're the second and third option, then they're always gonna get that first prime rib. So I'll leave it at that.
I will agree with you on that.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
And Charlie Brown, brother Charlie
go ahead.
Brown, the same question. What do Black people, what do we need to be doing? Where are we headed?
Yeah, which is a pretty great question to ask. First, before I want to compliment the young man. You can tell he come from a good family in his demeanor and the way he act. And that's so important. You got to first start at home and tell your kids the right thing to do. And don't agree with your kids because you're not your kid's friend. You can be friendly towards them, but you are their parent and you have to parent them. We need to make sure our kids get a good start and understand how the game of life are played. In spite of they throw a lot of curveballs at them, they know they can come home and get some truth. And we just need to get ourselves together and don't fight each other and stop criticizing each other because we're all in it together. We're going to move forward, study the history of Black people, then we can understand what we need to do to move forward. That's what we just need to do is come together, don't fight each other, and take your kids, whether you're a single parent or two parent, and educate them and teach them respect. Mm-hmm. Regardless of what's going on into the world, you isolate them and educate them. The mind is like a parachute. It only works when it opens. God did all us a favor. He gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So when a senior like myself talk to you, I am history. You don't have to go to encyclopedia or Google certain information because it may not be the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to tell you what's popular. I'm going to tell him what's best because he is the future. And when I go to the old folks' home, I certainly wish he can help me because he might be working there. It's nothing wrong with that job. That's an honorable job too. You know, everybody cannot maybe be in the NFL or play basketball. So young Black people, that's who I'm worried about. I'm worried about all people, but I'm worried about Black people. We behind the ball. Get a good education. Don't say you're going to the NFL or the NBA or play Major League Baseball for a living. Get you a good education, move forward in the community. And thank you. And can I say this about you? Over the years, I admire you, although in spite you graduated from Jenkins, but it just happened. Sometimes crap fall out the sky if you hold on to it long enough. But I want to compliment you because you have been so valuable to this community in educating them with your true business, with your entrepreneur, and you have educated so many Black people, whether they're from New York or from all over, and these local people. I, Charlie Brown, want to thank you and continue to do what you do. You don't only walk and talk it, you do what you say. And I appreciate that. You may joke around with that humor, but you do get people attention. And that's what's important. I learned a lot about Gullah Geechee and things of that nature I knew nothing about. You brought it to us, and I thank you. Although you look funny most of the time, but we all can't look alike.
Man, I don't want you ever telling me you're going to give me some good. There's a whole block of good and bad.
So, and I'll say thank you. I said thank you.
You're quite welcome.
And James said, I hope you're right. And so to Sister Deirdre Murray, glad to have you checking us out. Araya Scott, glad to have you. Alexa, glad to have you. Randall, Michael, David, glad to have all you. Glad to have you always supporting us with the gospel. Gianna, glad to have all of you. And so now we come to this right here because now you'll have some vision. And so I want them to now utilize their vision because, see, sometimes for some of us, we have some blinders on. We got these
Right.
we got some things blocking our mind's eye. And so what are the things that you all foresee on the horizon that you think we need to be aware of? What are the things you see on the horizon that's out there right now that a lot of us are not paying attention to? So, Charlie Brown.
One of the things that people are not aware of, Job Corps used to be a full-fledged operation when you could not go to college or you just wasn't doing that good in high school, but you got a skill. It no longer exists. Donald Trump have taken Job Corps out of the equation. It's no more Job Corps. So we, as a community, our church base, have to step up to the plate and come up, and we might have to be a trade type situation or blue collar startup or something, because Job Corps is not there. We have to support these young people who got skill, because there's no more Job Corps. That's one of the things we need to be aware of. Was y'all aware of it, Jay?
Yeah.
Job Corps. A lot of people not. It's no more Job Corps. Donald Trump have did this country more damage. Nobody can tell me what he have done to better anyone in the United States. Everything have hurt everyone. He's the worst person ever. And I'm not going to call him the P word. Never. It's just Donald Trump.
All right.
That's my opinion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not the show or the Black Media Network. That's
So-
my opinion.
So, Brother Kylo, what do you foresee on the horizon that we need to be aware of and be prepared for?
I would just say, just to clarify off of Mr. Brown's point, is that a lot of people, at least my generation, are not paying attention to what's going on in the news, because quite frankly, some of us are tired, because we're tired of, I would say we're tired of not seeing the result that we want to see.
Mm-hmm.
It is very hard for us to get a job. And if you don't know anybody, it's even more harder to do that. And so I'm saying that from personal experience. I'm saying that from what my friends have shared. I'm saying that based off of what has been said to me. It's just like we're in a time where a lot of things are being taken away from us. Funding from HBCUs are being taken away. History is being taken away. So I really feel like where we need to go as in the future is just knowing that we gotta have spokesperson. We need to have someone just somebody that we listen to, because at least for my generation, it's hard for us to listen to anybody older because it comes with the lesson. But sometimes we have to understand that they're talking based off of what they were going through, and they're just trying to help us along the way. So it's just like I really see that, and I really foresee in the future is just I don't appreciate that other communities are doing better than us, because first of all, we were not supposed to. We as a community should be doing better and should be having the opportunities as everyone else. But we already get looked down upon as Black men and women, especially my generation, because we are the future. I just believe that just having that internal voice and having that village behind you just does wonders for you, and just making the connections in the right way.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Brother Jay, what do you foresee? What's on the horizon? What's that we're looking at?
Well, what's on the horizon is economic depravity.
Whoa, that's a new one for me.
Economic
what you call it,
suffrage. Depravity. Economic suffrage. Economic forced opportunities. If you look at what's going on with ICE is eliminating a base of people that was attempted to replace African Americans, which when you brought Hispanics into this country, that was an attempt to replace African Americans. Now those people are being haunted and pushed out of the country. Whether today he is or tomorrow he isn't, there's an attitude as far as taking that piece out. The second piece of that conversation is the no king rule. You have a group of society, a segment of society, our white counterparts who were beneficiaries of the society now being challenged because the thing going from the White House is not only affecting Black people with DEI and Black people with this, not only affecting Hispanics with the job market, now it's affecting them too.
The white women's especially.
So it's affecting them from a cause where you know, we don't talk about this much and not as much. The DEI, I use DEI. We talk about DEI, but when we look at what Trump did for DEI for me, as far as concerned, is it exposed that DEI had far removed from being effective for helping Black people
right.
out. It was helping white women out because DEI essentially is diversity,
and inclusion. Right. The vast majority, Jay, was white women. So a lot of people didn't know that.
And so my thing is, when the DEI was under attack, you know, we all this time thought that DEI was essentially working for us. It was essentially work for them. So, you know, I you know, with that piece right there in the whole cosmic plane of how everything is rolling, you know, they don't attack us as a Black people. And this is my last point where I'm gonna land the plane at, is because they understand we don't own nothing. Right. As a people, we own nothing. No. And my thing is, every attempt in society where we have attempted to try to own something, whether it was in 1912 where Lake Lanier sits at. And I'm gonna let y'all figure out what I mean when I see all these subjects, because we need to do the research before they remove the history. Whether it was Lake Lanier, or whether it was Rosewood down there in Florida, or whether it was Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or Wilmington, North Carolina, where we owned the government structure. Right. Every time an attempt we have tried to, as society, attain wealth or attain options in the society, we have been sheltered against it. Correct. And since those early days, they've never given us the opportunity to thrive in wealth situations. You know, and we have to, as a people. The one thing I learned in entrepreneurship, I hate going back to it, but one thing I learned in Entrepreneurship Center was it taught us we needed to stand on our own 2 feet. Yeah. Because standing on your own 2 feet in this society is the only way Black people are going to be competitive. Because if we're not doing what we got to do to own our own businesses, own our own operations, we should be doing SWOT analysis, street analysis to say, okay, why we don't have a grocery store in Tatumville? Why we don't have a grocery store in Carver Village? Why we don't have a grocery store in these places right here? We don't have it because it's by design. Because my thing is economic depravity. Economic depravity means, guess what? It states that we want to make sure you are constantly and forever dependent on us. And until we learn independence, true independence, whether we get 10% this year, 50% this year, 100%, we're never going to go anywhere as a people.
You know, Jay, you always...
hold on just a second, Charlie. So I'm sharing this with all you out there. So now, when you all hear me use economic depravity, guess what? Don't go and say Jamal got that from Jay. I'm gonna let everybody think that came from me. So, Kyle, when you're at Savannah State and you hear me talk about this, don't say nothing that came from my uncle. Okay, let's understand what happens on here. Stay on here with me. Go ahead, Charlie Brown. Where you going?
And I have this show the document that came from me, Charlie Brown.
But again, we must have unity. It don't make no difference who it came from. The knowledge is being spread to others. That's what's important. My concern is that I don't see Black brick masons anymore. I don't hardly see Black carpenters. I don't hardly see Black painters. It's a few. I'm saying we forgot what we could do and we built. We are dependent on places to work like the hospital, the service industry. We got to go back to blue collar stuff. Yes. Blue collar is an honorable professional. We need brick mason. We need carpenter. Blacks need to get back in it. Maybe it's an eye opening for us now. What's taking place? When the last time you seen a Black cement finisher? This is a forgotten trade. We need to bring it back. If the churches have to do it with the leadership or whatever, it must come back. That's what we need to look for.
But Charlie, this is what we need to talk in society. There are 3 things we all need.
Go ahead, Jay.
No matter what color you are. You know you got to get up because you got to have a place to lay your head. You know you're going to eat somewhere. And you know you got to be mobile to get to wherever you need to go. We as a people need to concentrate on those 3 efforts. And we need to make sure that we're doing whatever we can as a people to brand ourselves in these efforts, because we understand there's an economic source that's going to be tied to any of those 3 efforts. But what we have done as a people is allowed ourselves not to have any kind of stronghold in those 3. And that's why we suffer.
Okay. And so you heard Brother Jay Jones, Brother Charlie Brown, Brother Kyle Garrett. So this is Run Tell That. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. And we're going to get into something that's a little bit more personal with regards to them and a perspective that we need. So this is what we're about to do right now. Go and take this break, but still share.
Savannah, are you looking for some of the best Southern soul food? Then check out Kim's Cafe at 714 MLK Boulevard. The food is so good, you'll think that your mother cooked it. Located in the heart of Savannah, Kim's has a menu that includes breakfast anytime, lunch when you need it, and dinner so you won't have to cook when you get home. They also cater all types of events and can host your reserved event at the restaurant. Come see what everyone has been raving about. Great food, great atmosphere, and a great time. Kim's Cafe, 714 MLK Boulevard in beautiful downtown. Police in my whip must be thought I had bricks. Say I wouldn't make it, but it's happening quick. Hating on me now. Hello world, we're here serving Savannah, Atlanta, Jacksonville, Brooklyn, Houston, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and the world. The best music all the time. The greatest songs ever made, every time. Tune in to Hot 2100 Savannah and get a taste for your ears. Hot 2100 Savannah.
We are back. This is Run Tell That. And we had Charlie Brown had to depart. He had to go do his work with regards to the Lord. So again, glad for him doing his work regarding the Lord. But again, we say support Hot 2100 Savannah. Support Hot 21 Savannah. And because again, we are not just in Savannah, but we're around the entire world. And so we got this for you. We got this for you. Bam, that QR code. We got that QR code for you right there. Go ahead, hit it right there. Apple CarPlay, Alexa, your Droid phone, your iPhone, your tablet, your laptop, your desktop. Hot 2100 Savannah. We got some new shows that will be coming out. We got Scooter in the morning, hot fish and grits.
Hot grits. I'm on you.
Hot fish and grits. That's what I'm calling it. But Kyle Garrett be on it too. So hot fish and grits. Till I try to tell Lynn about her show too. But we're gonna come back to this right here. Leaders. What constitutes a leader? What constitutes a leader? I'm throwing up there's three parts to it. What constitutes a leader? What are the characteristics of a leader? And what must a leader do? Again, what constitutes a leader? And then what are the characteristics of a leader? And what must a leader do? Because that was one of the conversations that Kyle and I are having this morning, because he called some things out. I'm like, bro, quite insightful. And I was like, looking, so brother, that's why I was like, yeah, he was throwing it out there. So brother Jay Jones, what constitutes a leader? What are the characteristics of a leader? And what must a leader do?
So there's an acronym I've always used, my mother being a retired English teacher, and lead. I think the best characteristics of a leader is summed up in 4 points of that acronym. A leader must be willing to learn, always learning, always understanding what they need to be doing as a leader. The second part is educate. Once you learn, you educate people on what you have learned to sharpen your tool, to make sure you are doing right by what you have learned. The third piece is advocate. A leader understands that whoever is underneath them, they have to make sure that they're not just learning and educating with them, they're advocating for them. They're speaking their language, they're having that conversation. And then the last point is deliver. There is nothing like making sure when you learn something, you educate, you advocate, and you deliver, because watching the deliverables, it's not always something, leadership is not something where you always win. Delivering means you delivered a product. It means you did something to change the mentality of something. So that acronym is usually what I use when we want to discuss the word lead. A leader, the leader is the term for that person. That person comes from the verb of lead, and lead means to take advantage, move forward. And there's 2 different kinds of leaders. If we didn't know that, there's a leader that stands at the front of the gate, is the first one to pursue it in, and then there's a leader who stands at the back of the gate and gives directives and lets the people come to them. And I'm not saying one leader is better than the other. I just think that leadership is based on that environment, that tone where you want to set that conversation and role.
Okay. All right. You got it. And so, Brother Kyle, dealers, what constitutes a leader? What are the characteristics of a leader? And what must a leader do? Your thoughts?
I really feel like when it comes to the word leadership, the thing that comes to my head is just knowing how to follow before you know how to lead.
Mm-hmm.
That was the main thing that was told to me in anything that I did. You have to know how to follow in order to lead. Not following the wrong crowd, but following somebody and taking, not following the crowd. But what I'm saying is you have to be willing to take that criticism, be willing to go through certain things, and be willing to understand that you don't know it all. Nobody does. Nobody knows it all. Nobody, unless you have that guidance. And I really feel like that's the main thing that constitutes a leader, is knowing how to guide people, knowing how to talk to people, and also knowing how to connect with people. I say those three things because those things are very crucial. I've been in leadership positions where I've had to ask, what is a way that I can be a better leader to you? How can I make sure that you feel included? How do I make sure that your opinions and everything like that that's given to me is feeling heard? What is something that you want me to do better? Asking those important questions, because sometimes as leaders, we might think that our way is the highway. But sometimes taking that criticism and having the right people around you is very crucial. And I just believe that you have to know what message you want to carry out. You can't take somebody else's message. You have to know, what are you going to put out? What is the product that you want to put out? What is the message you want to put out? And that's my opinion on it.
All right. And, see, Colin tried to throw a little ding at me. You can't take somebody else's stuff. Economic depravity. He tried. I ain't throw
no shots. I'm just saying the truth.
Whoa! He said Jabbar. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there. Okay, I know what family he's from. Yeah. So that's excellent. And so, with regards to what we now moving into this, which is something that we're dealing with. And my brother, Jay Jones, you are an expert with regards to this, and this is something we're dealing with right now. We've had elections on yesterday.
Correct.
Very low turnout across the entire state of Georgia.
Extremely.
Because again, it's not just Savannah, across the entire state of Georgia. Why are these elections this year right here important? Because all elections are important, but what are we looking at? Because like I said, on this horizon with regards to us, if we stay home per se.
So we had a public service commission election. The easiest way, like I said, sticking with my mother, acronyms. Public service commissioner are the ones who regulate our utilities. And when I say utilities, the main utility, the main source of utilities they regulate. Easy acronym for you to remember is NET. NET stands for natural gas, electricity, and telecommunications. So we don't see as much natural gas in urban areas like we used to. But electricity, everybody knows Georgia Power is the biggest game in the state of Georgia. And telecommunications, we don't regulate cell phones, but they regulate telecommunication lines. So those cell towers, and those people who still have landlines, that's part of that regulation piece right there. And so those individuals, when you say your electric bill is going up, those are the people who regulate as far as what those electric bills look like. That election was yesterday for the Public Service Commission. The primary was yesterday, so it was really vetting the Democrats versus the Republicans to see who will face off in November. When you look at the stream of how important that conversation is, it's important because in November, we'll be deciding 2 of the 5 seats on who will move forward as far as regulation of those power bills and those telecommunication towers and all other good stuff like that. But the bigger conversation is this is also what we call the municipal year. And in municipal year, you have a lot of municipalities, better known as cities, townships, and places in our community where those seats are up for election. Now, in Chatham County, we don't have a lot of that going on outside of Bloomingdale, Garden City, I think Thunderbolt, and Port Wentworth. Those are the 4 that have elections going on in the township size, city size conversations. And why that's important is because these government structures that we're talking about in this cycle is where your Black mobility is mainly concentrated. Because if you look at the state of Georgia, your highest concentration of African Americans throughout the state of Georgia are in some kind of municipality, some kind of city, some kind of dwelling in that kind of confines, where most of your other folk live in the county, in the rural areas. So when we're looking at these races right here, why that's so important is because these are the people that put policy out there that regulate how towns actually govern as far as rent control is concerned, or even how power companies can come in and regulate in those environments, or how water comes in those environments, how development comes in those environments. And the reason why these conversations are important, because when we're talking about rent going up and we talking about utilities going up, and I'm talking about other utilities like water and sewer and those other utilities we don't talk about with the Public Service Commission, all that stuff is on the ballot. So if you're living in Atlanta, Georgia, you're not just your net, your natural gas, electricity, and telecommunication, but your water, your sewer, and all your other utilities are up on that ballot this year. 4 years ago, Atlanta, Georgia, in a runoff, only had 72,000 people, 75,000 people, something like that, actually vote to determine who the mayor was for the next 4 years. But then we complain about why things aren't fair and why things don't work, like policing and fire and why things aren't picked up in our environment, anything like that. Well, if you don't vote, if 75,000 people make the determination for 1 million, 2 million people, you can't get mad about the results you get. And this is not a shot at the mayor, because Mayor Dickens, I mean, he's a good guy so far as what he does, but it doesn't negate the fact that we need to be more involved in the political stream. Not just when we want to, not just when it's the president or the governor, but we need to be involved in any kind of decision that affects us on a day-to-day basis. And so that election, November the 5th, I believe, it's the first Tuesday in November, is going to be quite important in a lot of municipalities across the state of Georgia, because a lot of those cities will see brand new people going into the next year. And when your development takes away the money that should be going to your community, you can't complain if you ain't going to the polls.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so we're going to move into this portion right here, because we're going to be winding things down. And so, Brother Kyler, you are in education right now. You're right there. He is an active college student, university student. What are the things, what's the role of education right now for us that you see for us to be catapulted? That, again, your thoughts, because you're right there. You're in the midst, because I know, because again, having conversations with you, that what do you foresee? How do we need to use education? How must our educational system now be used to help catapult us?
And catapult us as people, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I believe that our community, or just anybody's inhibition, or whatever you want to call it, our greatest superpower is the brain. That doesn't always come from going to class. That doesn't always come from taking a history class, because some of the stuff that's in history has been fabricated. Sometimes you have to be willing to do the research outside of that. And so some of the times when you don't know anything, you look it up on Google. And like I said, we can't, I'll say, since I am, currently in the college system and all that stuff like that, it's more, for our generation, it's more common for us just to work towards a grade than it is to know the information and retain the information. And some of the stuff that's been presented to us, we think is not important, that we don't deem as important, but we look at other generations before us and they believe that that's more important. Just like, my uncle here just said about the elections and stuff like that. I'm not going to lie to you. As somebody who voted for probably the first time in the presidential election in North Carolina, when I was down there, the amount of people that didn't really understand what the risk was concerning. And nobody really knew until it happened. And the amount of people that I just seen, I was just like, we're mad about this result, but now where are we going to go as a community because we are the future. What are we going to do as a community, as a generation, to catapult the next generation, for them to understand the importance of not only just presidential elections and state elections, but elections across the board. If you stay in Georgia and you don't know anything about who the candidate is, what they're offering, or the opposite they're running for, look it up. I really feel like that's very, crucial, and we just have to we have to just do better as communities, just doing research. Because as somebody who was in the generation, I'm thinking that the presidential election and the gubernatorial election is the most important. When in fact, it's other factors, it's other small counties out here that you don't know about that have so much to play when it comes to when you're trying to provide food for the table, and when you're trying to get gas, and when you're asking questions like that, and you don't know until it's too late. So just understanding and just doing more research, and that's something that we can do better as a community, and just be willing to not know something, because some of us think we know it all, and that's okay. That's fine. It's not, but it's not. But we just have to understand. You have to be susceptible to criticism. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So
powerful statement, brother. Powerful statement. I can tell your family. I can tell the genes. I can see the genius. That's right. I see the genius. Yes, right. And so we throw this out to you all because we're coming to the last minutes of the show. Each one of you be given 1 minute to share insight, inspiration, any words of encouragement to any of the people out there checking out the show. And so we start with you, Kyla.
Okay, well, I'll say this. The more that you don't know is the more you should know. What I mean by that is that just because you don't know anything about said topic, because just because you don't know anything about said topic doesn't mean you can't find out. Mm-hmm. We live in a technological world now where you can find anything just like that. We have a lot of more opportunities than what the previous generations had. So we have to take advantage of that. And I'm speaking morally to the younger people because I know that we can sometimes be stubborn and we can sometimes don't want to hear out the other side, but that is so important to hear out the other side and hear out people who are older than us because they've experienced it. They may have not experienced how we did, but they can still give you that information, give you that insight. So I just say, listen to people who know about what they're talking about. And also feed yourself with knowledgeable stuff, not stuff that doesn't matter. That's my thing about it. That's my little bit.
That's it. That's for real. That's real. That's real. And so, Brother Jay Jones, what's the word that you want to give to the people? The word of encouragement, empowerment, and inspiration.
Fear is a mind killer. Fear is the biggest devil that you can ever deal with. Mm-hmm. And what I think we have to do in this society is we have to get past fear. We have to get past hope. We have to get to that point of faith without works is dead. We got to not just have faith, but we got to start working toward making what our world looks like better. We got to stop allowing our fears to actually control our narrative. And we got to have faith that a greater, a higher being has a design effort in mind for us to be better than what our situation is. I'm piggybacking off what Kyla said. We have to take upon those opportunities, grow in them, learn from them, and move on from them. Because if we're not willing to take those times and those steps to actually get out there and do what's best for us, we're going to keep sitting in the same pothole we've been sitting in forever.
All right. Powerful words from both of them. Again, Jay Jones, Brother Jay Jones, Brother Kyla Garrett in the house with us on Run Tell That. And we say, check out all our shows on Our Black Media. And we say, check out Hot 2100 Savannah and Julius and Jamal in the morning with DJ Vicious from 8 o'clock to 10. And then later on, you have Kyla with DJ Scooter Blue, Hot Fish and Grits.
I don't think it's called that, but we'll go with that. It's called Hot Grits. And we'll see you.
Yes, we do. This is Run Tell That. We say share all of the things we have on the platform. Sure. The Rabble is coming up next at 8 p.m. The Rabble.
Like that.